to Miss Martin Muses and another review, more specifically, a review of Cobra Kai season 6, but of course the entire season. So there will be spoilers. The show finale came out on Thursday. That's given you 4 or 5 days to watch it. So please, if you do not want to be spoiled, please come back later. And I will definitely appreciate it. And thank you to all of you that will be coming back for the replay. We have as my guest, once again, all the way from the north and from the future, the Viking himself, Steve Kenobi.
Hi.
How's the
How you
future?
do?
Oh, doing well. How's the future?
Snowy. We had lots of snow. Now it started melting, so yay, it's going to be icy.
Oh, yeah, it's like a constant death trap for you, isn't it?
It's not so bad if you're used to it and you've grown up around it, but
Yeah.
it's still tedious when it's icy because it limits what you can do and whatever.
True. Tedious for one who drinks tea.
Yes, quite tedious.
So I'm having coronation tea right now. Well, we have in chat, it is a Nordporeal life form. The show subverted my expectation, not completely fall off at the very end. Season 6 was mostly waste. Aw, well, I can see that perspective to a certain point of view. It was definitely a wrap-up season.
Yeah.
But I think that there's a lot worse things a person can say about a season or a show that, yeah, they spent a lot of time wrapping it up. That's my personal opinion. That's how I felt about it, because there was a lot of agony throughout the entire series. A lot of soap opera situations, misunderstandings, partner swapping, all of that. And so they needed to give us some ecstasy. And I felt like season 6 was very predictable, but had a lot of ecstasy in it.
Heck, I predicted the ending completely.
Oh, you did?
When we did a talk about part 2 of this season, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was in November we did that, and I was like, yeah, these two are gonna win the thing, and blah blah blah. And yeah, it happened. But to be fair, this is a continuation of 3 80s movies, right? And they also try to make it feel like an 80s show,
yes,
keeping the same tone and all that. So 80s movies usually had very happy endings, didn't they? To the point of it being cheesy.
Correct.
And
I agree.
And a lot of shows get a lot of stick for not ending it and wrapping it up and all that stuff, and stuff being open-ended here and there. But this one just wrapped up everything, so I'm fine with that. It needed to do that to conclude the story, I guess. And yes, it was predictable, and it did feel like a lot of filler at the end. That they had to finish this storyline, this, and all that. So, but it had to be done too.
Yep. I've been living with Cobra Kai since 2018, I think, was when the first one premiered, and I was okay with it. I totally binged the ending, and the only thing that came as a bit of a surprise to me was the resolution with Johnny having to fight the sensei from the other team. That was quite ridiculous.
Oh, heck yes. Of course it was ridiculous. But would that ending fit in an 80s movie?
Absolutely.
Hell yes, it would. And that's what they were going for. It was basically 80s logic all over the place.
Yeah.
I mean, Silver slashed Chosen with a samurai sword in a previous season and didn't go to jail for that either. That alone should have jailed him for a long time.
Yeah, no matter how much money you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get into some more of the details, but I want to say hi to Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective. Hello, thank you for being here. Everyone, please go subscribe to him early and often. I think it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. They should have simply been Johnny's story and only lasted a few seasons. Didn't have to start a Karate Kid universe, in my opinion. Sites like IGN and Access Media are to blame. Maybe I don't know because it was Cobra Kai, but I mean, come on, Ralph Macchio's on board. Yeah, it's
Well,
it
yeah,
happened.
and the show started and ended with Cobra Kai.
Hmm.
You know.
Yes, with everyone wearing Cobra Kai, all the people from Miyagi Do doing that. I thought that was
Y-
great, and Cobra Kai were the ones that won in the end.
Yeah. I thought the Asian dojo was
Yeah,
kind of glued on to be the big bad villain near the end. Um,
yeah,
and I mean, but that was also very 80s. So
yeah. The hissable team, the fatalities. I guess is talking about. Yeah, I thought that was actually kind of awesome. Unless you're
yeah,
talking about the dude that was stabbed, because I honestly believe no matter what would happen, if somebody was killed, they would not have continued with the tournament. There is no way they would
yeah,
have done that.
yeah. And I mean, the lady who took charge of the other dojo was like literally a ninja. You know,
Yes.
with like the previous boss was like he he looked like he had stepped out of Kill Bill too, because
Yes.
he definitely looked like the one who trained Uma Thurman in that movie. But
Yeah.
like I said, if it would fit a cheesy 80s movie, it would fit Cobra Kai, right?
Hmm.
Because it is supposed to.
Yeah. And I mean, well, I have a slideshow, so we're going to go through some details here now. Of course, Cobra Kai never dies, and Cobra Kai does never die, and that was the whole thing. Even what did they say? Cobra Kai effing never dies. It's I really felt the little part of my heart just was like, oh my gosh, because Cobra Kai, especially the first season, had a huge impact on me at a personal time in my life. Johnny's attitude of don't be a wimp, don't sit around and cry about things, get off your ass and do something about it, or the whole flip the script thing, like what you had with Hawk. It's like you can sit around and let yourself be bullied and cry when every time anyone mentions your lip, but hey, it's obvious you got a problem with your lip, so guess what, own it. And that's how Hawk was created. The whole situation with a lot of the nerds, it was in a way a Revenge of the Nerds story. So, yay. I really liked that. And they played upon the meme of Johnny being the real Karate Kid, started from How I Met Your Mother. Like, they even had Ralph Macchio and Zachma had a cameo episode on that where that played upon it. There was a very famous video uh, on YouTube that did it, and there was a lot of acknowledgement that got the momentum going for people wanting to see these people again, and they they played up to it. Sometimes almost even broke the fourth wall. I also like the way that even though it had like older dudes, like for example, our original Karate Kid, our original Cobra Kai, they didn't ruin the older characters to make the younger people look good and then have the younger kids take over. Even though they played a huge part in the show, they it was still the show for the original kids. It was the original
Yeah,
Cobra Kai.
and they also managed to have Mr. Miyagi actually have a presence in the show, even
Hmm.
though the actor's dead and all that. And that's tricky, but I thought they succeeded with that. Maybe the dream sequence in the last part was a bit a step too much. I think.
Mm.
But early on, when Ralph Macchio was kind of talking to Miyagi when he wasn't there and kind of remembering things and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, it you got the feeling that his ghost was around in a way. Um, in yeah, like they had an invisible character almost. Um, but and yes, they also managed to honor what came before while introducing new stuff,
Mm-hmm.
because none of the characters from the movies felt like they got destroyed in this show at all.
No.
You know, but so Cobra Kai managed to do what Disney failed to do with Star Wars and Indiana Jones, and what's been going on with Star Trek and all that. So Cobra Kai actually did the job right
Mm-hmm.
on a shoestring budget early on. You know, I'm assuming the budget increased quite a bit, but yeah, Cobra Kai is succeeded where Disney failed, and the only other ones that has succeeded at this was probably Ash versus Evil Dead, which
Hmm.
also did no harm to Ash and the other movies that
Yes.
came before.
Agreed. And also shout out to the fact that you had Ralph Macchio in a healthy, stable marriage and with a stable family. Because, yeah, there was all the stuff with their teenagers and things and fights now and then, but that's normal. And Amanda was a true partner to um, to Danny, and they they worked together. They were a team. And then of course we saw with Johnny falling in love with Miguel's mother, and they ended up getting married and blending the families together. That these were healthy relationships. It wasn't the their divorce and the women are always crapping on them and the women are always better than the men. They didn't do that. They were not afraid to show the women with flaws, because sometimes Amanda messed up and sometimes his daughter messed up.
And even back in 2018, this show dared to make fun of the woke, which
Mm-hmm.
almost nobody did that because they got they were afraid of being canceled. This show actually did it.
Yes. And they did it in an ingenious way by having Johnny be the one to do it and other people to be the foil to that. So they were like, what did he say? I'm on the spectrum. And he's like, I don't know what that is, but get off of it. And they're like, that's actually a real thing. And it's like, this is a made up disease. What did he say that about asthma? It's like, actually, asthma is real. And he just yelled, quiet. Um, yes, indeed. Let me see something here. Oh, yes, I did see your comments about Wheel of Time. I guess Norporeal Lifeform is still reading the Wheel of Time, and we definitely endorse that here at Miss Mark Muse as I'm reading that as well. And he feels guilty when he sees Steve because he should read the Thrawn trilogy. Yes, you should.
Uh, you can live long and healthy in the land without having read it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But
Yeah, but you'll
yeah,
be happier for it. But yeah, Wheel of Time first. I actually spent this morning reading. So yes, and the whole thing about Cobra Kai never dies. For some reason, that just really resonated with me. And the Karate Kid really meant something to me as well. That it's a real part of my childhood because, of course, I had a huge crush on Ralph Macchio. And when I met him in real life, I realized I still have a huge crush on this man. He just oozed charisma, and he was very hot. I'll just admit it. That Karate Kid 1 and 2 especially, I never really cared for Karate Kid 3, and I don't even know if I saw Karate Kid 4. I honestly don't remember or know anything about that one. And how much Miyagi means to you, as you were saying, Stieg, about how he managed to have an invisible presence. Like the scene when in season 1, which I do agree is the best season, he is at the grave talking with Miyagi, and then he has a flashback about balance. And for the first time, Daniel puts back on his gi and his, famous headband, and the Karate Kid music, that triumphant music from the first movie, comes out, and it still gives me shivers every time I watch that. So, yeah, so Cobra Kai never dies, and neither does Miyagi Do. I really liked this relationship between Johnny and Miguel. At first, it was a student pupil relationship. And that's how Johnny comes out of retirement, because these bullies are picking on him really badly. And he just starts kicking their butts. And, and then he realizes, karate. And then he's like, will you be my teacher? He goes, no, I'm going to be your sensei. That was a great pilot. So 2 thumbs up about that. And then again, eventually it becomes his stepson when he falls for the mother. I thought it was really funny, the sequence where he's having the dream about the mother, that's when he starts to realize he's being attracted to her, and she's sitting there doing all those 80s things like from Flashdance, and her hair's going everywhere, and it was pretty good.
They actually had like an 80s dating montage thing when Elizabeth Shue showed up again.
Yes.
It was like straight out of an 80s movie. That was fun, and all the training montages and stuff with the 80s music, all that stuff was great. Some of the youngsters I could have done without. The tall nerd that's Hawk's friend.
Yeah, he was obnoxious.
Yeah, but he didn't serve the story at all. He was just there to be Hawk's, friend and create some kind of drama. But it was like, probably the most useless character in the story, and I didn't think the actor was that good either. But then again, he didn't get great material.
No. Yeah, he was there to be annoying. Though when Kreese kicked his butt, it was like good, because he was being obnoxious.
Yeah,
Dimitri,
I completely agree with Oriel. Dimitri got way too much screen time.
Mm-hmm. Though I did think it was funny, though unrealistic, that those real popular girls fell for them once they became badass karate people. That would never happen in real life, but why not? That they got the cute girlfriends. Yeah. Let's see. Well, also Miguel and why do I keep forgetting her name? Sam. When they went on their first date, they also got their montage, and that was at the same time that Johnny was able to get the ban on Cobra Kai lifted for the tournament, and at the same time he goes, "Are you the man? I'm the man. Wait, you're the man? I thought I was the man." They were both, "We're the man," because it was just really, really cute.
Another thing was that was overdone was Tori switching teams. I mean, how many damn times does she have to switch the team, right? It was probably like 4 or 5 times in this.
Yeah,
I'm like, just pick the team and stick with it.
Precisely. That's why it was good that the series ended in 6, because you just couldn't keep that up. I was getting very tedious of this. I tried to rewatch the whole thing before the season 6 finale came out, and I just got sick. It's like, oh my gosh, enough with the misunderstandings, enough with the I'm mad at you, enough with people lying. And you were saying backstage, Steve, that why didn't the people just ask? That would have solved everything. Talk to each other.
Just walk up to them. Hey, did you do that? And then if the guy says no and they still don't believe them, ask someone who knows. Like, hey, did this guy actually do this? And then you'd get a no, and then problem solved. But as far as the youngsters, I'd say the guy who plays Miguel and the girl who plays Tori were probably the best actors among the youngsters.
Yes.
The Tori actress was in one of the Spider-Man movies. as a 10-year-old or something, because
Oh,
she's a twin, I think. So she and her brother was there. Got to meet Spider-Man in one of the Spider-Man movies. Can't remember which one though.
well,
So she's probably a child actor, right? That's
hmm
so probably has more training than a lot of them.
yeah. She definitely had a wider range of acting, definitely, and a bit of a better story arc. Before I go into something else about that, shout out to Stingray. Yes, Nordporial. I liked Stingray, and I thought his acting was good. Like when he did the D&D role play to tell without telling, I thought he did a really good job with that. Yeah, and Nordporial Lifeform, the reason why the girl left that was Sam's friend, she left for personal reasons. I forget what it was, but it it was a thing, so I guess she wasn't available. And yes, hello to DJ Play Nice. Hello. Everyone's saying hello to each other here at Miss Martin Music because we like saying hello to each other. Yeah. But it was also in season one, it was a very similar pose here that Johnny told Miguel his version of what happened between him and Allie in the Karate Kid, and it was biased. It was biased because he would always leave out the part that he did in provoking Daniel, but you know that's typical.
It was also typical teen behavior that we saw in, Cobra Kai. No, sorry,
Hmm.
in Karate Kid.
Yeah.
And
Well, anyway.
uh, another thing that was great, was Barnes.
Hmm.
When he came back and he basically told Daniel, "Yeah, the stuff I did, in Karate Kid 3 was fucked up because I was like, you know,
I was coked out.
yeah, I was coked out and I was in my 20s and beating up a kid."
Yeah.
So he was like, "Sorry, that was fucked up," and he had really straightened up, and it was good that he did not come back as a villain. Everyone thought he would come back as, Silver's henchman or something. Um, but no.
Oh, my fault. I mistook. I thought you were talking about Silver. Yeah, Silver was the one who said he was coked out. It was the other guy. Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, my
Barnes.
fault. My fault, Barnes. My brain cells.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Silver, one of the solid storylines that they did in season 3 was the flashbacks with Kreese and Silver, where you really see what they went through in Vietnam. Like we always kind of knew, it was bad. Obviously, it was Vietnam, but what they went through and the torture and the whole deal right before they were saved, and then Silver goes, "I'll do whatever for you." You see that bond that they had because they went through that truly horrific situation. And we also learned that Barnes had a woman he loved who died tragically in a car crash. So he thought that he was going to go home to her. It's like, okay, I can get through this. I can get home
Well,
to her.
well,
And
not Barnes.
did I say
You,
Barnes again?
yeah, you did.
Crease,
Yeah.
Crease and Silver. Forgive me. But yeah, that Crease, that he had this girl, and I could see how if that was what was keeping him going, and then he finds out that she's dead suddenly in a senseless car accident, that could also really f you up. Like I know a lot of people that went to war. My grandfather being one of them had my grandmother waiting at home. World War II. So to have that trauma and then not even get the girl, if you will, maybe something that could have helped heal him. It You can understand where they were. So I felt like that was a very powerful story. And maybe you could
Yeah.
see how
And
Silver became a psycho.
well, it's what I keep saying, with writing, explain
Mhm.
who, how, and why.
Mm-hmm.
and that there is the how and why with Kreese and Silver, which is in modern writing. Usually they screw up the how, right? If you look at the the Disney Star Wars, right? It's always the how. How can you hyperspace through a ship? How can Luke Skywalker die from a force overdose when it's clearly not possible, right? It's always the how. But now we know how Kreese became what he was, right? I think your microphone went out. Oh, Kreese's shit internet is acting up. Well, I'll talk to the chat and be professional. Lord Portal says, I thought it was a force heart attack. Well, that's one explanation they're giving, but Brian Johnson said it was an overdose. It's weird.
Speaking of overdose, I have no idea what happened. My internet just kicked me right off.
Yeah. Well, I was being professional.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Damn it! I almost had total control of the channel.
Oh dear. Salty could cosplay actually as Silver. That would be amazing. Yes. Oh, yes. So we're going to get to that in just a second. Yes, about Kreese.
That's actually one of my gripes with the last part, that Kreese's change of heart was a bit sudden. You know?
Yeah, it felt sudden. On the other hand, I think the kid dying and it being his fault, maybe that would be enough.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do a shout out. Speaking of happy endings, I actually thought this would be the final scene, like there would be a big wedding, but instead,
know what?
is
this is almost the same ending as Lethal Weapon 4.
Oh, good. Well, goodbye. As you said, they got inspiration from older things. Well, the strings were playing "Take My Breath Away." I mean, and I loved how the grandmother, when they were talking about names, and the grandmother just goes, "How about Bastarda?" And he goes, "Oh, what's that? Is that a common name?" And she's like, "Like, you dumbass." She was putting pressure on him to get married to her, and he set up this cool proposal for her. Like, he Googled the best marriage proposals ever, and he had everything ready to go. And then, of course, she goes to have the baby. So everybody's there for the baby and the wedding, the whole cast, including the friend from the original Karate Kid who turns out to be a preacher. And so he's able to officiate. So it is not a illegitimate child. And the child's name was Laura, named after his mother, but also Lawrence is the last name. So she's Laura Lawrence. That's almost like having a double name, because Laura is a female version of Lawrence, but who cares? It was a happy ending. Too much from older. I don't care. It's great.
Yeah, there was a lot of inspiration from the older stuff. But I don't know. Like I said before, it was kind of it's made to be an 80s, almost like an 80s movie, isn't it? So yeah, it looks like she roboted, and then I think her internet's going out again. So yeah, they're poorly. it actually was a great scene. Um, I don't know. Would you agree if I said that yes, this part was definitely almost 100% a wrap up, but it also had to be done, didn't it? Because the show has been running for, well, what is it, 7 years now? So I guess if you have a show running that long, uh, with so many people watching it, it's never going to be, perfect. It's going to be, satisfying. If you get a satisfying ending, that's probably the best you can hope for. Which is also what happened with Wheel of Time. Actually, the ending was satisfying. It wasn't fantastic.
Mhm. Yeah. And I'm back. I am on my parents' internet, so we can blame it on them. This should have been the
Well,
last scene. Yeah, I agree.
what kind of shit parents has shit internet like that though? Holy
I
crap!
I don't. Oh my gosh! Now he's insulting my parents. How dare you, sir? No, I think it could also be my location in the condo because I'm way, way far away. That's why my parents always call me instead of yelling at me when they want me.
Hmm.
So this was
Because they can't contact you on Messenger. Did you vanish again? Yeah, I think she vanished again. Uh, well, Nerdporial, this should have been the last scene, the man says. Well, I guess. Maybe. It certainly would have worked as the last scene. But then it would be identical almost to the last scene in the Lethal Weapon movies. Because that one ends with a wedding and a baby birth at the hospital as well. Let's see. Robert Jordan passing. That's why I'm willing to be more forgiving of certain things. Don't get resolved in a satisfying way. Yeah, well, for the most part in that book series, it some stuff is left open because he was actually planning to write more books afterwards, but it was supposed to be like standalone books about certain characters. Which actually, when he said that, he kind of spoiled things because then everyone knew, okay, so you're going to write a standalone book about these two characters over there. That means they're going to survive the main series. So kind of spoiled it when he did that, but it never happened though. So uh, well, not just that, he was gonna. Well, actually, I can't say it because it'll spoil the book for you. But he was gonna do a prequel about Tam, um, not a sequel.
I think I might have solved our problems.
Okay, with a hug.
Yes, a hug always works. Now, yes, this whole redemption of Kreese, I thought that Zakba's acting, frankly, was amazing in this scene. I think it's maybe some of the best acting he's ever done because he's usually not showed a lot of range. But I'll tell you, when he started to cry and it was like, you threw me away like trash, I was like, oh my gosh, let me give you a hug. Yes, love solves everything, even internet issues.
Love is like a fart. If you have to force it, it's probably shit. It's words of wisdom from Norway.
You need to put that on a Valentine's Day card.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually felt like it was really moving and sudden, yes. However, okay, I can buy the fact that he really started reevaluating his life. And I liked the relationship that Kreese had with Tori as well.
Yeah. Oh, he apologized to her as well.
Hmm. And he related to her in many ways, or at least definitely pitied her when he realized how vulnerable she was. She was being taken advantage by the landlord, and he threatened him. I thought that was good.
You
Now I'm
know
fine
what's
with Johnny crying.
it's kind of fun when you see interviews and stuff. Uh, the actor who plays Silver and the one who plays Kreese are some of the nicest people ever. They're like really good people.
Yeah. Well, I met the actor who plays Kreese, and yeah, I will agree. He was lovely. But I guess that it shows how good they are.
And he's one of the few people who survived the Rambo movie as an antagonist. Imagine that.
Woo!
Yeah. He just got knocked out. That's it.
He's fit. And, for a really old dude, he's pretty good. I think he's in his 80s. I think the actor is. I mean, he's definitely up there.
Yeah. I think he's, pushing 80 probably.
Hmm. And you really got the feeling that they were sincere in that they really liked revisiting these characters again. Yeah. Oh, that was sweet. Now, the whole him getting blown up in that fight, it was ridiculous, but it was a very 80s fight. And he
Oh, yeah.
takes a cigar to
Yeah.
blow up the gasoline on the boat. I shouldn't be laughing, but it was actually really good. It,
Yeah. The Kreese actor turns 79 in March.
yeah. Oh, well, there you go.
Actually, in March 16th. So
Oh, well, there you go. Right before St. Patrick's Day. I must admit, the way it went down on the yacht reminded me of some of the things you've written for our game, our 80s game that you invented based on Call of Cthulhu.
yeah, the D&D
It
thing.
Yeah, it just reminded me that that's the kind of thing that would happen. It's like, and then the gas pours everywhere, and he takes out the cigar, and then I hear you roll, and he goes, and the thing blows up. He
You know
rolled a
what?
1.
They missed a chance there though when he picked up the cigar
Uh-huh.
and threw it. He should have said "smoking kills."
Oh, oh, they should have. Oh my gosh! And then that would have been a good message.
Yeah, never
Yeah,
smoke on a boat that's full of gasoline.
darn right. Shout out also to the fact that we knew it was a stunt double. It was so obvious. Because he's too old to be doing that stuff, but I was all right with it because it just was what it was. I was going along for the ride. So, R.I.P. Crease. Ah, there's what we were talking about earlier. The two champions were Tori and Miguel. This in
It was
it,
it was easy to spot that they were going to win because they were the two that had the most to gain from winning.
mhm.
Because Sam and Robbie, they didn't really have too much invested in actually winning. They would have been in the same place if they had lost the final, right? But these two actually needed to win big time for story purposes, which is why in November I said Tori and Miguel are going to be the winners. And I think I even said that Robbie's going to get injured or something.
Yeah. We'll have to look back. It might have been on Mara's stream, or I don't remember when that was,
Yeah.
if it was on mine or hers. However, I want to disagree with you. Robbie had everything to gain from it because remember, he wasn't even going to be able to go to college at all. So Robbie did also need to win. Sam was the one. That's why Sam was able to just not
Yeah.
compete.
Yeah, but keep in mind Miguel broke his back, so he had more of a comeback underdog thing going for him.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And because of this win, he was able to get into Stanford. The whole college scholarship thing for sports, which still makes some people bitter. Not me, but other people. I actually had a music scholarship. But yeah,
Another thing another thing they added in this finale, which was something everyone wants to see, is a damn influencer bimbo getting the shit kicked out of her.
Yes, and her teeth knocked out.
Yeah,
It was beautiful. Yes, and Tori's nickname became the Tooth Fairy.
yeah,
Yep. I agree with you. I agree with you. I think that that's Norpoya, that Johnny and Miguel are the heart of Cobra Kai, and I think that that's why it was so great that it came around to what it was. Gosh, yes, because she was so obnoxious, wasn't she? Though
yeah.
she was damn good with her moves. I think, is she an influencer in real life?
Yes, I think she is, and she does like karate stuff. She's
Mm-hmm.
probably not a a bitch, but
Oh no.
she is legit a martial artist, and you could tell, and you
Mm-hmm.
could also tell that Sam is not an athletic person
No.
because her whole stance and stuff every time she fights is really off. You know,
It was also clear that in her fight scenes in the second part of season 6 were a stunt double whenever there was real karate
yeah,
happening.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you notice her stance and her movement when she's hitting and kicking, that she would not get any amount of force behind it. The Tory
No.
actress did way better.
Yeah, I'd be
You
curious
know,
to see what their backgrounds are. I know for a fact that the one who played Sam, she took karate for the role. She did martial arts for it, so she wasn't always doing martial arts.
yeah,
I did learn though in some research that she is actually a type 1 diabetic. So some people have been noting, oh, it looks like she's put on a few pounds, and I'm like, oh, well, if you're a type 1 diabetes, it's a miracle she hasn't, frankly, been showing a
yeah.
few pounds. So shut up, people. Fat shaming her. She's actually a diabetic. And she and Robbie just got engaged. Did you see that in real life?
No,
The actor who plays Robbie and her, they got engaged on Valentine's Day. They fell in love.
imagine like if she goes, "Give me some sugar, baby," and he goes, "No, I can't. You're diabetic. Bye."
Oh my gosh. Well, maybe he would. I don't know, but I think that's great. Obviously, you get that many young people or any people together for a long period of time, people are going to hook up, and good for them. They're actually like pushing 30. They're not as young as they look. Especially Sam. I was surprised to learn that she's 28. She's actually older than the actor who plays Robbie. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, it's been 7 years
Yeah.
since the show started, so
Yep. They
it's also easy to forget that, I guess. Because it's especially if it's younger actors.
True.
Um, I mean, we saw that with Game of Thrones; they aged way too fast.
Yeah.
Because that story only takes like 2 years or something. So yeah, especially Bran, he got way big from just being carried around in the snow.
Hmm. Yeah, maybe Robbie could be Link in that. Yeah, yeah. In Game of Thrones, also they aged them up. Thank goodness for several reasons. It worked out that way. Now Tori, she and Robbie get the happy ending where they get an endorsement rather. So even though they couldn't go to college, they get all this money. And I learned later that I guess it was $750,000
Yeah,
because the actor who plays Robbie said he was genuinely surprised because they didn't tell him what the number was going to be. So he's like, "Oh wow!" When he saw that, that was a genuine response.
I
And
bet you the Tory actress might show up in a superhero movie at some point.
I think so. Didn't you say she would be really good as a certain role? I forgot. Oh, Red Sonja. Didn't you say Red Sonja?
Yeah, I thought she might be good as Red Sonja,
Mm-hmm.
but they cast someone else.
Yeah. And they're happily ever after, even if they don't do something stupid and blow the money on stupid stuff. It really could start a new life for them. And so happily ever after, they're traveling around. I liked Tori a lot. I thought she was a good villain in the second season, and I liked getting to know her story. And she also had a special mother daughter relationship with Amanda. So, yay, they all became a family. Look how happy Robbie is. All right, my personal favorite. Once they got the kid stuff out of the way, they had the ridiculous plot contrivance that the senseis had to fight each other. So Johnny had his moment to become the Karate Kid, if you will, but in a good way. They go through a training sequence, including this, to the music of "You're the Best," and I was so excited when I realized that was the music that they were playing.
Finally, they used that song though.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and the Tory actress has already done superhero stuff. She voiced Batgirl in a Batman animated movie,
Ah, well, there you go.
which
Maybe,
she would actually be great as Batgirl.
yeah, yeah. If they would write it properly. Oh, you thought it was going to be between Johnny and Daniel. Ah, I can see that. I like the way though that it didn't quite go the way perhaps we thought it would be. This is a proper subverting of expectations, and I'm glad
Yeah,
that they held it off for last. I was hoping though the other song that they were waiting to use for last was "The Glory of Love," but apparently they didn't want to use it or didn't have the rights to use it. Who knows? But that's my
probably
personal.
Peter Cetera is a greedy bastard.
If he is, he's crazy. But if he even was the one to make that decision, I would be curious. If I were ever at a con or want to see through an interview to see why they didn't use it, because especially the like a knight in shining armor. Oh, I love that, and they're running along. I thought they were going to use that with the that one ninja chick and Chosen at the end. Like we'd see them together and see them running around Okinawa with
Yeah,
that song. I thought that would have been
tossing
great.
throwing stars at people.
Why not? Not- that would have been excellent.
Yeah, like a montage. You see the chick throwing a throwing star at a guy and Chosen laughing in slow motion.
Yeah, dear. And we got to see Chosen finally. We get to see Chosen finally doing the ice chop. I liked how Johnny said peanut to sucks. Yeah, that's an example of breaking the fourth wall. I enjoyed. Oh, hard to say. I'm sorry. I never realized the singer was the singer of Chicago. Oh, well, how dare you? But I don't know if you're a child of the 80s, but oh, I love him. I saw him in concert. I saw Chicago in concert and he sang. Oh,
Really? He sang at the concert?
oh, shut up. It was great. We were all, it was, he still has his voice. Let me put it to you that way. He is still, yeah, hard to say. I'm sorry. After all that we've been through, and we all sang along with him. It had blue lights.
That
Never mind.
what is it? The "Baby Please Don't Go" song.
No,
That one's been ruined by South Park because they had Butters sing it in the bathtub.
yeah. Okay.
So
Now, completely over the top, but amazing. They did the Rocky thing where the
yes,
kids start running behind them. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
this is why I keep saying, think of it as an '80s movie,
Hmm.
not as something made today. Because if this had been filmed in the '80s, nobody would have thought it was cheesy at all. It would have been
Yeah.
completely normal. You know.
Well, today, if they tried to do this in LA, everyone would have been like, shut up, get off the road. Been shooting at him or something. But no, yes, it was great. Well, and look how they even have Johnny kind of looking a little rocky-ish with the gray sweat area shirt
Yeah.
on.
Well,
So,
I mean, the gray hoodie. Stallone wears that in Rocky One, doesn't he?
mhm,
When he's running.
yeah. And they even mentioned earlier on, be like Rocky 1, where he went the distance and all that.
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to win. So I was personally thrilled by this, and I didn't give a crap if it made sense. I just loved it.
You know what
And look,
though? Once the Stranger Things wraps up later this year,
mhm,
Netflix doesn't have any winners anymore because Cobra Kai's gone and Stranger Things are gone, and those are the flagships of Netflix. And they have like 50 other shows that are kind of train wrecks.
you're
So
not wrong.
maybe Netflix will feel it. You know,
Mm,
I mean, The Witcher should have been their main thing, but that turned into a train wreck.
yeah, that was their fault. Okay. Um, my thinking also behind that is that's why they drug out the last episodes of this season, like 5 episodes. Then we had to wait 5 episodes because they were trying to get the last dime they could out of it all instead of just releasing them all at once.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tommy, for being here. Have a great day. Got to recharge the damn phone again. Have toys to film later for Toy Show. Hey, that's what I call a man with priorities.
Yeah, and you know, to everyone watching, go sub to Tommy's channel because it is one of the best channels for showing off new and older action figures and toys from the 80s and even 70s. It's awesome what they're doing there. So uh, great fun to watch.
I agree. So you heard the man. Do it. Okay. Now, I couldn't help but do this. This has been going around the internet, and even the writers are showing this and sharing it that this is the true story of what happened, that Kreese was able to like jump off in time and he's in the water. Someone did, I think, an AI that very much looks like one. And I'm all in favor of this because, come on. Yeah, also part of the 80s thing where it seems like you can never finish off people. They just manage to survive in crazy and unbelievable ways. So,
Especially if they die at sea,
mhm,
because then it's like, yeah, they pop up at the end. Even in the Bond movie where Jaws fights the shark,
mhm.
right? And the whole underwater base sinks and all that, and at the end you just see Jaws pop up and swim towards shore. So
Yes.
he's actually the only I think he's the only Bond henchman that has been in 2 movies and also survived. So
Oh,
that was kind of fun.
I think you are correct. Yeah. So this obviously is not from the show, and the credit for whoever made it is on there. But I'm all right with this being my head canon. But he decides to stay dead because he like Kreese, a part of him that is Kreese is gone, and so he's. What did someone say? Someone said on X he could be like kung fu where he would travel from place to place and help people. I don't know. It's cheesy, but I like the idea that Kreese is truly alive. He got off in time. Hello, Orange Chat. Thank you for being here. Sorry for late. No worries. Just happy you're here. Yes, we are going through season 6, and this is an AI thing that's been going around that I am in complete favor of. Now, here are
You know what would be
just
even more fun
oh what?
if the cigar butt survived.
Oh gosh, someone should have actually had that still in his mouth. That's awesome. Like you
Yeah,
see it flying through
because
the
that
air.
yeah, or right at the end when Johnny gets a new house, the cigarette butt lands on his doorstep.
Yes.
It's like flown for days.
Hey, I would not say no to that. Well, here we are, totally full circle. When Cobra Kai wins, Johnny calls over Daniel and he does the whole "You're all right, Lawrence" instead of the "You're all right, LaRusso." And together they except really the trophy shows that they're all together. I liked also how Johnny was having flashbacks to the fight because that was the moment for him that defined him since he was a teenager. And so, in a way, he kind of put to death, if you will, the old Johnny and became the new. And he was able to do the final move that defeated the dude because what were they saying? He let the bad guy come to him.
Yeah,
Brought
which was the opposite of what Chris had taught him as well.
correct. Well, and Daniel had told him that the only reason that that kick worked was because you ran into it. So that helped him. Hmm. Oh, Orange Hat says his version of this would be Johnny getting a package in the mail at his new home, it being a cigar from Crease. Yeah, that would be also awesome as well.
Or
Johnny
a
found.
piece of silver.
Oh, his hair.
No, I mean like the metal.
Oh, here I am thinking like Hannibal
Yeah.
Lecter or something. Oh, right.
Everyone wants Chris to survive, right? But what if Silver did? You know.
Yeah. I've seen a version of Silver surviving too, where he's like all wrapped up because it seems like they're cockroaches. They can't die. Yes, Johnny found his balance and he got the home with the wife. And because they won this big tournament, Cobra Kai is hugely successful and able to branch out into a franchise. And the winning of this kind of tournament, Johnny would be able to use the rest of his life to have people come to his karate thing.
Also,
And Danny doesn't need it, but he does.
if you look at the to the left of the trophy, it looks like John C. Riley from Step Brothers is in the background.
Oh my gosh, you're right. Well, who knows?
Yeah, boats and hose.
Yeah. Silver was dying in Hampton Race. Well, the meme went that I saw about Orange Hat about Silver was that the explosion cured his cancer. I mean, it was terrible. It was terrible, but why not? Did I miss your cover of AI Miyagi? Oh, we've talked about it. Yeah. Do you feel like that was going over the top? We didn't talk specifically about the AI aspect of it, but we did talk about the scene.
It looked just not good enough
Mm-hmm.
because you could tell really well that it was AI, and I thought it was better when we didn't see Miyagi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that it was just like an invisible presence. So I thought that was a step too far, and it came off as like one final big member berry that they had to add, right?
Yeah.
So it looked off, and I don't like it when they do AI of actors that have passed away,
Yes.
because they did that with Peter Cushing in one of the Disney Star Wars movies, and I think they did it with Leia a bit in the last one. But
Yes.
how do I put this? It's kind of like the line. Well, they're blurring the line between nostalgia and necrophilia.
I agree, especially
Is that a
if
yeah?
if they didn't give their consent. Like if an actor had given their consent, like sure you can use my AI, but obviously these actors were not
It's
available.
yeah. Even if consent was given, I still think it's off. There's something
I,
like at the back of my mind saying that this is kind of wrong.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, Orange Hat says zombified. Yeah, that's another one. Well, here's what they should have done. Like in that scene, it was very obvious that they were using a stunt double with a silhouette that looked like Miyagi.
Yeah.
If they'd have just kept it like that and not tried to show his face or have him speak, I think I
Yeah.
would have been okay with that. It's like we obviously we know that's not the actor because he's passed away, but I was all right with that. But it took me way out just to see his face. We didn't need to do that.
I think Ralph Macchio is now older than Pat Morita was during the shooting of Karate Kid.
He is, and they made a reference to that when Daniel goes, I'm the same age or older when I first met him. So I thought that was a good callback. Yeah. And I have one more shot. Okay.
Yes,
Johnny Triumph.
Orange Hat has a good point with Ghostbusters Afterlife. When they showed Egon as a ghost, and he didn't speak, he just smiled. That was done perfectly. But it's still off. But at least in that case, he was actually playing a ghost. So I don't know, but that one was dedicated to him too.
Yeah. Pat was only 51. Yeah, 51.
Yeah.
Macho's 63. And I'll tell you what, having seen him, I'm still never going to get over. I will remember it like it's yesterday for when he did not feel like he was 63. I can tell you that. He looked fantastic.
Well, he's like well into his 20s in the first Karate Kid. So he's one of those that ages, too slowly, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he 28 or something in Karate Kid?
Yes.
Or 20, or something like that.
Well, in Karate Kid, he's a senior in high school. So he should be maybe 18, actually. Yeah, 18, 17, 18, yeah.
But he's like 6 or 8 years older than the character, which was actually common back in the day. Because if they had like kissing scenes and stuff, they had to be older than 18 and all that. So you have like a lot of actors playing teenagers, even though they're 10 years older,
Precisely. And there are also child labor laws. So if you're under 18, there's certain rules, like you can only film for a certain amount of hours a day. And you have to have like an educator on set. They have to have time for school. So it's just a lot easier to have an actor who's an adult, so you don't have to worry about those. Yeah. Yes, Orange Hat, that actually reminded me there when you're talking about the age here. That was why they didn't have in Karate Kid 3 Daniel have a romance with her. It was very hands off because it was just way too much of an age gap. And I love how she.
Sorry. Oh yeah, that was actually why Roger Moore quit as Bond too, because he was 58 when he did the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Bond girl in it was like 25 or something, and he's like, yeah, no,
time to quit.
Yeah,
I agree. But I love this shot because this is the epitome of everything we've been building up to. Johnny, triumphant, he gets picked up in the air just the way that.
Also, by the very two he's helped the most.
Yeah, Hawk and Daniel. Oh, it's just perfect. And true story, there's a super fan. He got to be an extra here. There he is. He's called the Cobra Kai Kid. They allowed him to be on there as an extra, so he was very happy about that. And that's another part of these creators, the actors as well. They have been incredibly fan-friendly the whole way throughout. I've had opportunities to meet the actors and speak at length with William Zabka. And it's just been very positive, everything that he told me. And the fact that we haven't really had any spouting out by any of the actors, including the kids. I don't know if that was part of what their publicist for the show wanted them to do, but I think it was a great idea. We haven't seen anything about the toxic fans or, screw the patriarchy or all that. It has remained very positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fans were genuinely happy with Cobra Kai, says New Imperial Life Form. I think that's why I would agree. And this is a true story. I know this for a fact. I can't say why because I don't have NDA, but there's an agreement. There's an agreement between some of these creators and actors that we wouldn't share. Not with Cobra Kai. This is another situation where we were told, I would told that the publicists for the shows, the publicists for the actors, they give directives on these things. That's why they tend to say the same things. And some of the spouting off that you see, that is coming directly from the publicists. So shout out to whoever was in charge of Cobra Kai that they didn't go in that direction. They understood that Cobra Kai, that Karate Kid belongs to everybody. And I think that's
Yeah.
why it's been such a positive experience for everybody.
Yeah. They
Mhm.
didn't piss on more than half, over half of the country's population or whatever, just to virtue signal and stuff like that. That's all too common now.
Mhm.
Bruce Campbell uh, said it really well. He said, if you're an actor, just shut the heck up during an election year, because if you say anything political, your DVD sales or whatever is going to get cut in half.
Mhm.
So he was like, just shut up. That's it.
Yes.
That's all you have to do.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's not your job.
Rachel Zegler should have paid attention to that.
Oh, she is a total example of the narcissist generation, and I think that
I think she was a YouTuber or something before she became an actor.
yeah, that's how she got discovered because she was singing on that when she was a teenager, and that's how she got cast in West Side Story.
Yeah, and I think none of her movies have actually made money.
None. None of them. I would be very surprised if she gets any work after this Snow White debacle because at the end of the day, they do want to make money. And the fact that they've had to cover up so many of her mistakes. But
Yeah, I mean, they hadn't even begun shooting the movie before she started pissing on stuff. It was like immediate, you
mhm,
know.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. They could have said, yeah, just 40-year-old basement dwellers. Yeah. And then we wouldn't have watched. This celebrated the
Yeah.
40-year-old basement dweller.
Well, not just that. It just, you know, it also shows that, yeah, 40-year-old basement dwellers are a big part of the customers,
Hmm.
right? Because if they're sitting in a basement all day, they have time to watch all the shows and the movies. So that's probably your biggest customer base, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, nerds. And
Yeah.
nerds have something called money and often children. That's the other thing. It's like, listen, if you're going to bash traditional families, whatever, people with, for lack of a better word, conservative values. So I think that that's a little bit of a misnomer there. They're the
Well,
ones with money.
yeah, and it's the same as with let's say people that are hardcore football fans, and let's say a fan of Manchester United. They have
Hmm.
Manchester United stuff all around their damn apartment. How is that not the same as someone having an apartment full of Star Trek stuff? And
Precisely.
and that Man United supporter will have memorized all the statistics and blah blah blah, remembering who scored in the match against Liverpool in 1997 or whatever,
Yeah.
all that stuff, because they consume it over and over
Mhm.
again because they love it, right?
Yeah. Well, like
And
you
that,
with Blackburn, you know all sorts of stuff.
yeah, so it's the same thing. It's just a different appetite, I guess,
Hmm.
because all the knowledge the sports fans memorize and know, it, it's the same type of information that a Star Trek fan would know, like which episode did this guy guest star and whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah, and we have unparalleled passion. Darn right.
Yeah.
Um,
And another thing, when people use fan, right?
mhm.
When it comes to Cobra Kai, I don't qualify as a fan. I'm a normie. I watched the show and I loved it, but I don't have I don't keep buying every Cobra Kai thing out there and rewatch it repeatedly and stuff like that. That's a fan
Mhm.
because it stems from fanatic. A fan is someone who takes it 10 steps further, right?
Yeah.
So the word fan is actually overused because the people who are actual fans, they're the core, the the inner core.
Yeah.
It's not just people who you know watched the original Star Wars trilogy and loved it and blah blah blah, and then didn't even buy anything else Star Wars, right? The
Mhm.
the hardcore real fans are the people who went out and bought the comics and the books and the action figures and stuff because they simply couldn't get enough of it, right?
Yeah.
So a fan is hooked. It's not just a person who likes something.
Correct.
It's a fan is kind of like an addict, isn't it?
Can be. Can be. But I think in general though, in the use of it, it just means that, you really like it. And some of the fan wars nonsense that you'll see going around, like I'm a bigger fan than you and all that. It's like, yeah, and are we 12 years old? Come
Yeah,
on.
and uh, a lot of people will insert themselves into a fandom so that they can
Mhm.
attack another fandom because they don't function unless they have an enemy, right?
Exactly.
Like people, go, oh yeah, yeah, I'm going to be a Tolkien fan and attack the Harry Potter fandom.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, the day after they decide to become a fan or something.
Yeah,
So,
because people don't
it,
function in the real world.
yeah, and it's like that with football fans too. They'll go, oh yeah, I'm gonna be, start watching, soccer and blah blah blah, and then they look at which teams have won the most, and then go,
Hmm.
okay, I'm gonna be a Liverpool supporter because then I,
Hmm.
will likely get a lot to cheer for, right?
Yeah. Well, and I will admit I'm the biggest fake fan on the planet because I follow Nottingham Forest, and I say follow. I can't call myself a fan because of Robin Hood. But I will admit I'm a fake fan. I'm not going to come in and pretend like I'm a football hooligan, though I love watching football. Uh, it's all good stuff, and that's coming back to Cobra Kai here, where I think that Cobra Kai, in so many different ways, is the celebration of the fan, of the nerd, of supporters, of people that truly love and get behind just a damn good story. And that's what made The Karate Kid a hit. It's really a very generic story. I think without the
Oh heck
actors,
yes.
without Pat Moriarty, Jeannie Mac, the actors playing it and the music by the man Bill Conti, as well as just something about him doing that crane kick. I mean, boom, even today, everyone wants to do the crane kick. They show that also in this. So I think that's also why Cobra Kai is so good and so popular and just makes you feel good, even when there are flaws in the writing. We were even saying earlier, like, enough with the soap opera, enough with the this. Yes, it was just wrapping up, but it doesn't matter to me because it's just great entertainment. And
Well, what happened was almost like a perfect storm with this because, like you said, none of the actors started acting up and talking, politics or whatever it is.
mhm,
And here's the thing: they didn't talk politics in either direction
mm-mm,
because if we're not happy with, an actor, spouting politics and nonsense on the side opposite of you, we can't just cheer it on when it's done the other way.
yeah,
I mean, it's shut up about politics, period. even politics we agree with, and what happened with this, they shut their mouths and all that, and they had a great relationship with the fans. So what happened was kind of like a perfect storm, like a marriage between the fans, the writers, and the actors. It just all mixed perfectly.
Yeah. And we were hungry for this. We wanted
Yeah,
to have something like this, something from our childhood that they decided to celebrate instead of denigrate.
yeah,
Good stuff. Yeah. So I love this picture. It's like this is all of us. This and different ages. That was another part that really moved me. The different times I've been at conventions, you will see like entire families, like a man with his daughter and his son and the baby all dressed up. There was a little baby at one place dressed up like the Karate Kid, and it's multi-generational. It's clever and it's beautiful. But the thing about Karate Kid, like Rocky, they were talking about it in the show. Everyone all over the world can relate to the underdog and the triumph of the human spirit and family and friendship. It's okay to celebrate those things. It's okay. And of course, universal things. I think that we're sick of the victim culture. So when Johnny doesn't allow them to become victims, I think it's a very powerful thing. And maybe people wanted to hear that. We needed to hear that.
yeah,
I know I did because I was sick of it.
yeah. It's something that's been overused when people claim that they get their feelings hurt and then they think that's trauma. That's not trauma. That's just you getting butthurt in a way.
Yeah.
There's
Trauma.
degrees.
Yeah. Trauma is what they showed in season 3 of going through Vietnam.
Yeah.
That's trauma. Thank you, Norporeal. Yeah.
Well, it's perfectly okay to be critical about the season.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think if you look at
Pretty
it,
good.
like I said, as an '80s movie, a lot of the criticism will go away a bit because that's what
Mhm.
it's kind of made to be. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I'll admit I probably won't be doing a lot of rewatching of season 6. Most of what I have rewatched has been season 1. I think that season 1's great. Flawless. But there were so many other great things that they did. We had season 1, like the first time that Daniel uses karate again. There were moments where each time they used karate for the first time, and it was to kick the boba tea out of that guy's hand. That was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Great scenes with Miguel overcoming his injury and walking again. The romances, the stuff with Amanda and Tori, the stuff with Kreese, and I love those Vietnam sequences. I liked Kreese's redemption at the very end. What's the other
You know.
parts that were
You
really
know what
good? Yeah,
was
and just really great moments.
one of the awesome things was Johnny had a montage, and I think it was season 3 or 4.
Yes.
Like when he kicked the mailbox and
Oh,
grabbed the guy's soccer ball at the beach and kicked it, and kind of like a bully montage almost, like a punk.
yes.
That was awesome.
Mm. Well, and how he bonded with that judge guy over Rocky 4. I thought that was great because I think the guy was from East Germany, and they talked about that. And I must admit, maybe it's because I'm a chick. Rocky 4 didn't mean as much to me as it has to a lot of men I know. I've always liked it. I always thought it was cool, but there's like a special thing for a lot of dudes in Rocky 4. The fact that they brought that out in the show, I thought was really good.
Rocky 4
Um,
got a director's cut a couple of years ago.
Yes, much better. I bawled my eyes out because they had an extra scene at the funeral with
Yeah,
Kurt.
yeah, they actually fleshed out a lot more how uh, Rocky actually had more blame with Apollo's death
Hmm.
than in the original cut, and Adrian got a lot more to do, and the killing of Apollo was brutal in the director's cut.
It was devastating, and they got rid of that stupid robot too. That helped. And hello, Snortopoopas. Thank you for being here. We love our animals here at Miss Martin Muses. DG Play Nice says it's similar to what you see with generations of Kiss fans. Good point. Orange Hat is saying my only gripe was a weird teen writing in some areas, but as for the Rocky movie connection, that was great, and the director's cut of the robot got rid of the robot was great as well. Yeah, I mean some of the teenage stuff, it was very soap opera-y. It was 90210 a little bit there,
Yeah,
but so what? Yeah,
you know,
I hear you. I
you know what else they kind of skipped? You know how Sam and Robbie got into college and stuff like that. You never really see them studying and actually being in school, in class. So when the hell did they have time to study?
good point. Well, to be fair, they did at the beginning, but
At the
yeah,
beginning, yeah, but that went away pretty damn fast.
yeah, it's like they were flying over to Madrid, and
Yeah.
you're right about all of that. Oh dear. Yeah, gee. All right. Well, as we wind up this party, Steve, if you were to give the okay, give season 6 a rating and then give the whole series a rating, what would you give them?
Season 6, well, it's a wrap up,
Hmm.
right? That's well, it's especially this part of season 6 was a wrap up. Uh, an 8 because they did what they were supposed to do and they did it, very satisfyingly. But
Hmm.
for the show itself, given what it is and what they try to do and all that, uh, a 9 out of 10.
Hmm.
I'm docking at some points for the stupid teen shit though. That kind of got too much here and there. And like I said, Dimitri got way too much screen time, and he didn't serve the story much at all, except for being involved with drama with Hawk or being in the middle of drama between two others. So he, you know, no offense to the actor, you know,
Yeah.
but he got a shit role, I think. So yeah, 9 out of 10. They did everything right that Disney failed to do with both Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and Willow. People forget about Willow.
Mm, what a
They
disaster.
completely, yeah, they completely destroyed Willow.
And it could have been so amazing.
Yeah,
Got they got almost all the cast back. Of course, Val Kilmer, he's limited because of his, throat and stuff, but uh this gee, was such a disappointment.
I mean,
Um
hell, Willow was so bad they actually removed it from Disney Plus and just used it as a tax write-off.
yeah, and that
So you
is
can't
how bad it
even.
is.
Yeah, the only way you can get it now is through illegal downloads.
Yeah. And they've been known to keep crap stuff up for other, but not this.
Yeah.
Third poop is not purpose. Orange Hats review is season 6 as a whole 8 out of 10. The series itself a whole 8.5 out of 10. Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
On rewatch, it's very hard for me to watch the whole series because around season 4, I just am so sick of the back and forth, as I said earlier. So if I were to dock at some points, it would be for that. I would give season 6. I guess that's fair. It's an 8 out of 10 for doing what it was supposed to do, but objectively, it might be a bit lower. It wasn't like the best. It was very obvious wrap up, wrap up, wrap up. But 8 out of 10 because you got to stick the landing. They stick the landing, and they made you happy. They made me smile, which is what the show to me as represented, as you said, like an 80s show. The overall, I give it a slightly higher score. I give it a 9.5 out of 10 for the whole series because of everything I've said earlier. It just did everything it should. It's something that I always recommend to anybody when they ask. It's like, you've got to watch Cobra Kai, especially if you're a fan of the Karate Kid. My mom
So
loves it, and
so
she never even
so
saw the Karate Kid.
so basically, Orange Hat gave it 8.5. You gave it 9.5, which puts me in the middle, which means I'm right. So 9.5
Oh,
is accurate. That's sorry, 9 is accurate.
there, there you go. Okay, I'll get it. I can't argue with that. I won't argue with that, rather. But objectively, yeah, I think probably that's fair. That's fair all around. As far as DJ Playside says, which do you think is the best season so far? How would you rank second and forward, fill the podium? Well, I definitely would give season one easily the best.
Season
Mm,
1 was awesome, and
yeah.
my favorite though, I'm not sure if it was the best because they kind of blurred together a bit, but the first full season with Chosen, because that one I think also introduced Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought
Yes, it
that
was.
one was a lot of fun.
Yep. Yeah, I would say my second would be season three for what I said earlier about all the Vietnam stuff, and I thought that
Yeah,
was really good.
Chosen
Um,
was awesome in this show.
yes.
He was great.
Yeah, I think if you're talking season four, I think it was season four, the stuff with him, that would be my third. Yeah. Eagle Fang. Shout out to Eagle Fang Karate. I love Eagle Fang Karate. It has a big place in my heart. Um, well played, Steve. Yeah. Orange Hat says that's why I docked at 1.5 points. The constant back and forth were aging badly, and the team drama was getting aged too. That was bad writing. I, me personally, I wouldn't call it necessarily bad writing. It was soap opera writing, and good for them to know that they needed to finish it up. Because if they'd have tried to go to 7 seasons, I would just be like, I can't take it anymore. It gets very tedious. Oh,
Yeah, and it'll just end up being build up to another tournament, another tournament, another tournament. So
yeah, you can't just keep doing that. DJ Play Nice says, thanks. Well, thank you. Thank you for the question. And of course, Snorta Poopa says Disney manages to wreck everything they touch. Yeah, they've got the poison touch now instead of the golden one.
yeah, I mean, I've been rewatching some of the old animated movies from the 80s and 90s that Disney did. They're
Mm,
awesome.
yes, amazing.
The Lion King, Beauty and the Beast, and all that stuff. It's great.
Little
But
Mermaid.
then, yeah, and then in the 2010s, I think maybe 2015 was kind of ground zero for when everything went to shit,
Mm-hmm.
something like that, uh, or maybe sooner, maybe 2012. That's when it really started seeping in, and yeah, because if you look at the movies and stuff that came out between 2000 and 2012, there's a heck of a lot of great stuff there, tons of it, and then it really dips because if you look at what came out in 2017, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's all sequels, remakes, and really really bad reboots and stuff like that, and very few memorable things. But if you rewind, to 1987, look at what came out then,
Oh, hell
right?
yes.
Yeah, Predator, RoboCop, The
Dirty
Lost
Dancing.
Boys. Yeah, Dirty Dancing, Good Morning Vietnam was 87. Predator was 87.
Broadcast News.
Yeah.
I
Uh,
think Princess Bride was as well, wasn't it?
yeah, Princess Bride was 87. So just just go, online and look at movies released in 1987, and it's so many bangers, and then compare it to 2017. It's eye-opening.
Yep.
It's ridiculous. I mean, heck, you could even do 1997 and compare it to 2017. It
Mhm.
Modern movies are a joke compared to what they used to be.
I agree. And thank you for being here, your Barmy. Yeah, be careful because we might spoil you. Actually, maybe we just did, but oh well. Don't look at the screen. 75 to 99 was the best of Hollywood. Modern
Yeah, maybe.
Hollywood. The only reason why I say that is because holy crap, you look at some of that stuff from the 30s, the 40s,
Yeah,
unbelievable cinema.
yeah, and rock solid writing,
Hmm.
especially with the crime movies and the thrillers and stuff from back then. It's amazing.
Yep. And the romances, really good
Yeah,
romances. Yeah.
yeah.
I I'm not sure where we're going to go from here because I think streaming is going to be the future. I believe that the only thing keeping cinemas open is that they keep showing old movies. They keep re-showing the Harry Potter movies, the Lord of the Rings. There was one, what was it, 6 months ago, I guess, where they were doing it in a normal cinema. It was the Fellowship of the Ring, and one of my students, he snagged tickets, and he was so excited because he was like he'd never seen it in the cinema. This was a kid in the 8th grade. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what kids are going to see in the cinema. That's what's keeping it alive.
I haven't been in the cinema since The Last Jedi.
Oh, gee. Well, what a bad
Yeah,
memory.
I was a dumbass. I thought they were gonna, okay, Luke's a Jedi. It's gonna be, you know,
Hmm.
yeah, I was stupid, and then yeah, I remember the walk back from the cinema. I was just stunned. Like, what the hell did I watch? How did I miss something?
Yeah.
Did I not understand the movie, or what was it? But it was just it was actually just that shit. But
Hmm.
back in the day, though, when I was a teenager and whatever, um, watching Jurassic Park in the cinema
Yes.
was nuts because that one changed cinema. The 90s
Hmm.
have a lot of movies that changed cinema. The 80s does not, actually, because a lot of that was built on Star Wars and Jaws and stuff from the 70s.
Mm.
And heck, most of the horror movies of the 80s are heavily inspired by the success of Halloween,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
The total formula was right there.
yeah, not that much innovation in the 80s, but in the 90s you had Terminator 2, and then Jurassic Park, The Matrix, Saving Private Ryan, and Titanic,
Mm. 97.
and and Scream. All of those changed how movies were made. And Toy Story, right? 3D
Oh,
animated.
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a landmark movie. And to some extent, The Phantom Menace, because the Jar Jar Binks effects
Hmm.
was what led to Gollum in the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings, how Gollum was made. So in terms of innovation and stuff and how movies were made, the 90s are nuts when it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Those were good times. And
If you ever get a chance, though, if it gets released in the cinema at some point, watch Cliffhanger in the cinema.
I don't know if I could handle that. I watched it for the first time about a year ago on on a big TV
Yeah,
screen, and I couldn't barely handle it. I think I would die if I was seeing that in the
it
cinema.
it. I remember watching it, and it gave me vertigo. Some of the scenes.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Uh, that one and Jurassic Park are my favorite cinema experiences, easily.
Hmm. This is making me feel old. My first movie in theaters was Batman '89. My greatest childhood theater experience was Special Edition in New Hope. Oh gosh, I saw New Hope in the cinema, though I barely remember it. I was way young. Totally, though, remember The Empire Strikes Back. That was an amazing experience because we did not know that Darth Vader was Luke's father. And when that reveal happened, holy crap, it was amazing. So good times, good times. Everything that Seek said is good. And I'm Cautiously optimistic about the new Karate Kid movie. I'm probably going to go see that in the cinema, see what happens with it. It might bring it in a good direction, or it has the potential to be a disaster. If they've learned anything, they've learned things from Cobra Kai. Because if they continue doing that, and if they make pretty decent new Karate Kid movies, they could be doing these forever.
I don't
They could.
want them to combine it with the Jackie Chan stuff
Mm.
because that's from a remake, a really shit remake where it's kung fu. It's not even karate. So if they combine that with Cobra Kai, I'm like, there's so many traps to step in with that to fuck it up. You know?
I hear you. I sincerely do. So this is the one situation I think in a very long time that I can say I'm going to wait and see. Nowadays, I generally don't wait and see about anything. On this one, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. They screw it up, they screw it up. I remember originally I was going to give the Rings of Power the same thing until they came out with the first trailer and we learned that it wasn't based on the actual story. And that was maybe the last time I've ever said I'll wait and see, but that was the preview that did so. So I'm gonna wait and see. Ah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Orange Hat says in the Asia release it was called Kung Fu Kid, which well
Well,
makes
that
sense if
that's
it's Kung.
the remake, renaming it because it was called Karate Kid in the country where it was made and also in Europe. So
Well,
the
true.
Asians basically did damage control for them,
Yeah. Well, it makes sense for crying out loud.
and
Call it what
and
it
a
is.
and a Norwegian was the guy who did it. Same guy who made One Night at McCool's. I don't know if you've seen that movie.
No. Oh wow. So Norway's capable of making a few mistakes.
Yeah, that guy fucked it up.
Well, there we go. Well, speaking of something that's not effed up, I do need to go because I have family obligations. But before I do, first of all, Snorta Poops Kuber says, I don't like any new attempts to destroy Middle Earth. It's called Mediocre Earth now. Good one. Good one. It is. It's not even Middle Earth. It's pretend Middle Earth. Well, actually, it's all. Then people say it's all pretend. It's like no. It, just no.
More
That's fine.
more like diddle dirt.
It's just a mess. Just a mess. But you know what? Karma is a witch, and I hope they get it because I know that they were doing it because of pride. They wanted to be heroes like Peter Jackson
Oh
and
yeah,
didn't
they wanted
realize
their names associated with Tolkien.
precisely. And now their names are going to be, well, like Benahoff and Weiss, associated
Yep,
with disaster. Yeah.
yep.
Throat Poopa says, take care, every human. Well, Steve, you got anything coming up this week or in the near future?
Um, no, I have something with Mara in February. Another top 10 favorite 1997 movies.
Okay, but it is still February, so
No, sorry, in March.
in March. Okay, because I was thinking,
Yeah,
I think you already
yeah,
did the February. Yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's our
So
top 10 favorites, though, not necessarily the best. So it's just, guilty pleasures and whatever. Even movies we know are shit, but we keep rewatching them and liking them. So,
exactly. I've rewatched Twilight several times and I'm not ashamed. All right, so stay tuned to that. Also, Jade Shadow, she has lots of great content over there, and she's been reading Lord of the Rings. Just fun, good content. And stay tuned here on Miss Smart Muses, where I talk about what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. I promise you, I'm going to get some more of these videos out. Life happened. Sometimes it does. It's good though, because it was some money that came my way, some money and work, but I wasn't able to get a video out last Friday. And I will be continuing with the 10 Commandments eventually. I'm going to be recording them here while I am in Florida, and look forward to a lore video on Snow White. The background of it, it's based on an essay that I published like a long time ago. I'm going to use that as my script. Not cheating, because the rights have all reverted to me. And so I hope you will enjoy that. Let me see. I'll be around. I'll be around a lot of different channels. Fantasy, of course, is something that is my love. Going to do some J.R. Tolkien letters again, because I just love J.R. Tolkien more than life itself. Also, I will be continuing with the Wheel of Time reviews. I am more than halfway through the 4th book, and I'm hoping to get on to the 5th. I just love it so much. If you have not read The Wheel of Time, read The Wheel of Time. 2 thumbs up so far. And oh boy, I just love it. In 14 books. So that is thousands of pages, because some of these, they're big. If you want to read more, also read Forgotten Realms and others. So that's what's going on here. I want to thank everyone that was in the chat. Sort of Poops Caber, Orange Hat Reviews, Conway 1776, and we had Your Barmy, DJ Played Nice, Nerdporial Life Form. I think I did say Snorted Poopus Cooper. If I did not, I apologize. And if I missed anyone, it is not intentional. Things just can jump around all over the place. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain to watch good content, and especially watch Cobra Kai.